It was under tight security measures that the dignitaries arrived in the historic city of Constantinople, former capital of empires and cradle of the Orthodox Church. Veteran Russian special forces of the 66th Mountain stood guard as General Ungarn Sternberg, Georgios II of Greece, Hassan Shah Qajar of Persia and Sultan Ömer I signed the capitulation of the remnant of the Ottoman Empire. Greece would gain full control of the Aegean and the coast to its west, as well as the former capital. Constantinople would become the new seat of the Greek king, and the government was to move there. The rest of Anatolia would be governed by Persia, for a period of transition while sectarian unrest and economic problems were dealt with. In the light of the developments, Armenia decided to abandon its stance and join the Moscow Accord, and participate in the free trade agreements and economic benefits afforded by the Moscow Economic Council. Militarily, the removal of the weakest central power meant that the Reichspakt suddenly saw the unraveling of years of Austria's Balkans policy and significant forces opening a southern front that would drain precious manpower from the crumbling European lines. Austrian forces are indeed already quite under strength when it comes to material and on the front lines, so this additional front line hopefully should break the back of the remaining United States of Greater Austria, who also have to deal with occupation in Italy. Actually, let's have a look at what we know. Their manpower is completely depleted, so they are on extensive conscription. I don't know if they were still going. I'm surprised that they have this little manpower remaining. The losses shouldn't have been that great. Oh yeah, okay. 2 million. That's a good point. We haven't looked at the losses in a while. The losses on the Russian side are approaching 500,000 men. The United States of Greater Austria have lost over 2 million, and the German Empire has lost over 6 million men to Russian forces. However, the German Empire still has has reserves to draw on, whereas the Austrians are mostly depleted at this point. And with the Greeks joining in, we should be liberating the Balkans relatively soon and coming under potentially control of the new Kingdom of Greece for now. And we will massively shrink the front lines and the influence of the Reichspakt in Eastern Europe. For that, we will have some offenses to do, but for now the mountain troops are moving towards the new front line, threatening Sofia, and we might push north to join with the rest of the forces. But we still have a war to fight in Africa, where we are seeking to take Elizabethville. And the problem is, as usual, supply. But we will attempt. This is not that far, actually. We will attempt to push through the Zambesian hinterland and see if we can make our way there. Ideally, we'd be cutting off most of the enemy troops here, but the problem is that we're just not having the supply to make this happen. So for now, we will have to give these troops some time to regain their organization, and then we will be continuing. We do have some fighters. I might. Do I want to divert close air support aircraft? I could bring. Ideally not, because I'm planning to. Where do we have here? We've got the close air support wings here. I'm planning to launch the rest of the offensive, so ideally not. We'd be continuing to operate CAS from here, and I'm actually going to move them a little closer. Do we have enough reserves to train another wing up? We do, in fact, for 2 wings, and we've got honestly more fighters than we need at this point. So I might actually ship a few. We might train up a few more fighter wings in reserve, just in case we need them. So let's make that all happen. And I can dispatch some of the old material to Allied forces as well. Especially the Persians are now in control of a rather large area. So let's check if they actually need. If they're needed, they do need some support equipment, and they can probably use some infantry equipment as well, and a few aircraft. So I might dispatch some equipment to Persia. How's the Indian Federation doing? They're battling it out with German East Asia, yeah, they're doing reasonably okay. They could use some medium tanks. All right, so if I have any medium tanks laying around, they go to India, and other things go to Persia. Okay, dispatching pretty much all the older aircraft that we still have laying around, as well as some support equipment, some foreign rifles, and some assortments of heavier guns that we don't necessarily need. So I will send that off to the Persians, and let's see what we can send in terms of medium tank. I am going to have to guess, but I think these are medium tanks. So I'm just going to run with it here. We've got the Sturmpanzerkampfwagen 4. I know that for a fact that these are mediums, and I am assuming that these Austrian tanks here are medium tanks as well. So I'm just going to go through and dispatch all the foreign equipment. Actually, it's not that much. So what else do we got? We've got a few Austrian medium tanks that we're not actually using for anything. They're just they have been studied, and in order to become more effective against them. But now we don't need them anymore, so we may as well just send them off to India. So there you go. These are sent off. All right, so we've got 2 missions ahead of ourselves today. We have to collapse the Middle Africa colony. And we have to, for that, we'll push towards Elizabethville. And I think after this encirclement is dealt with, and the troops have recovered somewhat, tried once again to close the gap here, and then we will be forcing the capitulation of these troops, and then push towards Elizabethville to end that war, hopefully. And we will focus on the European front to make things happen. But we also have to invite the Kingdom of Greece to the Moscow Economic Council. Armenia has joined, as I mentioned. And we have 100 political power. I do need... there's one thing I need to fix. So I had another look at the enemy bombing. And it looks like we are taking a consistent 0.5% debuff, because I am running the Bolster Spirits, which is going to give me a plus 0.6% weekly war support, but I'm only getting 0.1% because of the apparent stuck enemy bombing. So the big question is, when did the enemy bombing stop? I would have said it's probably about beginning of the year. That's just off the top of my head. We're now in August, so we are looking at 8 months. So around about, let's say 35 weeks. So we should have gotten an extra 17% war support out of that from the enemy bombing. So that should have been reduced to about 6%. So I'm going to fix that in console, because that's clearly a bug, because there is no enemy bombing, and this should no longer apply. So I don't know if it's a bug from the Kaiserreich mod. Some people have suggested in the comments that it is, or if it's from the base game. But I'm just going to fix it in console and put an additional 17% war support in here, because that's where the value logically should have been. Okay, now that's fixed. Obviously, it doesn't reduce the enemy bombing, because I can't do that in console, but I've just bumped the base values accordingly. to compensate for the bug. We do still have to, well, I might have to maintain the bolsters, but it's still going to run for a while. So I've got some political power to diversify the elite forces, and that should open up the paratroopers. So I've finally can use my air experience here. So let's make good use of that. What do we got? I have honestly never used paratroopers before, simply because it always seemed to be a bit of a cheesy method of doing it, but it might actually, as long as I don't use it in that way, it might actually be quite interesting to do that. So let's see. We can get, what is this? If we drop into states, it'll damage to military factories and civilian factories, okay. Or divisions will have their current organization reduced. I think a combat insertion sounds better. Let's do that. We can airdrop tanks. That would be actually quite fascinating to do as well. And now we've got two branches to go with. So this would be 15% defense. Sorry, my voice is still a little scratchy. 15% defense, supply use 5 org, and breakthrough and soft attack. Whereas this would be recovery rate. I can stuff more into planes, so the sardine factor, and this would be training time, cap contribution. I think I like the left branch better, because defense is also breakthrough. So and I am not assuming that I'm going to actually attack necessarily with paratroopers. So we're going to go with airborne signals. We're going to go with this, and we're going to go with breakthrough and soft attack. Yeah, that's the important part. All right, so we've got that sorted out. And with the African front currently waiting, I think it's time that we are launching some assaults again. So I'm looking at the weakened position, and I think we can start. I think we can start. How far are we in planning? Yeah, we're good on planning, so we can start the all-out attacks here. Along the lines, and we are going to take the second Casagrandi's infantry and Stefan's light tanks for an assault north here, and we are going to, that is second army as well. We're going to run, which one is, this is second army. Okay, so we're going to run with these troops in the south, and then obviously from there on we will make our advance. India and Persia have accepted, so let's give them supporting firepower. We'll make our approach here. We will launch an assault in the north with the tank divisions to clear out positions along. I'm a little short on infantry here by the looks of it, which is rather surprising. I would have thought that the Shatilov's 9th would have supported this more along the lines here, but it should be fine. We've got some foreign troops here as well. We'll bring this 3 tank divisions from here and some support from the north, and then we can simply move on to clear out enemy forces and see if we can manage to cut somebody off. Armenia has joined. Tanks are on the move, and I think we're just going to we'll see once we break through what the supply situation is going to be here. Okay, this position is already. Can they still escape here? I think they might be. No, actually, I think we're good. So let's join the attack. Okay, actually, never mind. That would be 7 German divisions that will be. We'll bring a light tank division north. 7 German divisions encircled. So let's deal with the encircled troops here, while we are defending against the inevitable counterattack, and these should be eliminated relatively quickly. In the north, yep, we're making our breakthroughs rather rapidly, and Armenia has requested military equipment. I think that is only fair. A telegram from Yerevan has just reached the capital asking our government to supply the resurgent Armenian rebels with military equipment to ensure the continued survival of their newborn state. Seeing as the peoples of Armenia and Russia have over time grown almost fraternal since our nation had in the past long presented them with a preferable alternative to the Turkish yoke, and considering that we already fought side by side with Armenian volunteers during the Weltkrieg, many politicians are arguing that it is our obligation to support the otherwise isolated Caucasian state with the equipment it needs. Furthermore, an Armenian victory, okay, this is mildly out of time. Okay, I'm going to give them. We'll send the Armenians some infantry equipment, but obviously the Ottoman state is no longer there, and this is probably part of me fixing the Armenia situation, because they were supposed to join the Moscow Accord, but it was bugged, so that didn't happen. All right, Greek troops are immediately advancing into Austria by themselves. My troops are not yet in place, so the Fifth Army is still moving into place. Where are all these troops located? Okay, they're actually here already. Yeah, the rest of the troops is still moving into place. If they could take the railways where appropriate, that would be appreciated. But the Greeks are already making headway into Austria, and we actually have 3 civilian factories. So I think we can build a few more dockyards, given that the military situation is actually, we can also build a little bit of infrastructure, to be honest. Let me go through and just, because we'd have nothing really urgent to be constructed at this point, we might actually, one thing I might do is do a forward radar station. We could do a radar station here, and we'll upgrade the one south of Königsberg. So just to have some radar coverage, that might be something we'll be doing going forward. But other than that, I'll schedule some infrastructure projects inside Russia, so we can concentrate more on the economic build-up. Talking about which, I still have a fair few. What decisions are available here? We can invite Armenia. We did promise them that. Where is it? Here. So Armenia is going to join the Moscow Economic Council. We promised them that. And I have a few things here that I could go through. But I think what I'll do instead is to award some medals for work in the field, especially the Sixth Army and Ungarn Sternberg's Fifth Army. They have been fighting valiantly. So I'm going to spend the current political power on a few decorations here. These are older commemorations, but I'm just going to go through. What do we got? Entrenchment, hit points, 10% org, attack, defense, terrain penalty, or 10% breakthrough. I think I'm going to go with the Order of St. George here. So let's apply that. Actually, okay, no, we'd only have 26 army experience. Before we do any further of that, was there a spirit that would reduce the cost of reduce the cost of awarding medals? The Spirit of Suvorov. So I do want. The professional officer corps is great, but it might be worth switching to the Spirit of Suvorov. And also I need to get off static warfare. So the lessons from Brusilov are important. And with that, we should be, that's probably going to be my next army experience spend. So I'm going to save up the political power a little bit longer, just to make sure that we're not wasting it. All right, Africa situation, have to keep an eye on things. How are we? How are the troops? Okay, we're mostly recovered. Troops here are actually moving off to a degree. We could once again pin the troops in the north and try to launch another. This is forest terrain. Actually, let's. The problem is if I wait for them to move out, then troops from the north are going to reinforce. So we'll try to do another assault here, and see, because it's only 2 divisions, and we don't want to give them unnecessary time to dig in. So we'll give them. We'll try to break the lines here, and see if we can manage to get through their forces. It's 1 division that is standing in our way, and the bigger problem really is that we're not having the necessary supply here in the east. Okay, need to keep an eye on the various front lines. We have destroyed the German forces with ease here, so I think we can overall have a look at the supply situation. There's a vital supply hub that needs to be taken. The rest is pretty much just along the lines here. So this is, don't necessarily want to begin. Come on, no. Can I? Game? Can I click on? Okay, thank you. This mountainous terrain, don't necessarily want to fight with tanks here. That's not going to go too well. But what we can do is we can get a few troops to push out the rest of the forces along the lines here. So let's do that and secure the supply position on the south bank of the river, and then we'll see if we can find if we can join with the Third Army's operation from the north. Once we have secured the supply positions here, we can create a cauldron, take Lwów, and join with the Third Army operations in the north. We do have to make sure that we're holding the positions here, however. So we are going to already begin attacks along the lines. I do need to leave a division behind, but we'll see if we can manage to break through here. We'll leave one tank division behind, 2 tank divisions moving in, and going through, we should be able to encircle and destroy a fair few of the enemy positions here, and then we'll just have to see what the supply situation is going to be. We'll launch the assaults from the north to make sure that these don't get away, and the same here. So let's pin these in place while Shatilov's troops are moving in towards the north bank of Warsaw, and Stefan's heavy tanks are making their way in as well. So that's underway. This offensive is underway. Troops here have just come in via railway. So for now, we're letting the Greeks lead the charge while the Austrians are rapidly scrambling to try and reinforce their lines. And the African position is the critical one. Can we breach their? Okay, we've got 1 division on the attack against the 12th Wehrbezirkskommando. That is not going to. Yeah, we're not going to break through there, I think. We'll try to reinforce as we can, and bring in the 176th again once they've had a little bit of time to recover, and see if we can break the stranglehold here of that Wehrbezirkskommando. But otherwise, we may have to gain sufficient organization back before we do further attempts here. But it would be before troops from the north can reinforce, because they're sending reinforcements from the north, and there's reasonably little I can do about it. Then this is a relatively vital fight for this particular sector. All right, we've got 3 dockyards, which means, the Sevastopols are not yet finished, but I think most of our refits are. So if we're looking at the Baltic fleet, we have, this is unfortunate that the naming has been messed up. But there's unfortunately not an awful lot I can do about it. How long would that take to refit that? 23 days. And the Sevastopols will finish on 5th of September. We can still do that. So let's get that last refit completed. And then we've got we have how many of these are my am I actually building? Oh, this is just a refit of the Ushakov. That's still going 5th of September. So yeah, in a few days, we will have, beginning of September, we will have the Baltic fleet ready and operational, which means I have 3 dockyards now. So I'm going to have a quick look and see if there is if there's anything we should launch production on. What's the destroyer situation with the Vitebsk class? So we get the modules upgraded and everything. We'd have a slightly more modern Vitebsk class destroyer with more hit points, better anti-air, better surface detection. So that would be a fleet destroyer with some anti-submarine capability. Yeah, we'll save that, and we'll simply dedicate the remaining to produce, let's say, 4 more of the Vitebsk class. I would like them to show up in Petrograd. And then we can join them. We do have the Admiral Golitsyn. Obviously the crew is still new, but we're getting relatively close to 40 plus to 50 ships in the Baltic fleet. Now, a certain admiral has made a point that we should actually eventually, and I think that's when this research is through, look into carrier tech as well. Now, maybe at some point, but I've got other things right now on the research that need to happen first. All right, so we have managed to, actually they're already through here. So we have, while I wasn't looking, we have managed to encircle, potentially overrun 4 divisions, and we've got another 6 divisions here encircled. So let's ensure that these don't go anywhere. And then we will reestablish the southern front here, but the line, and we'll see what the supply situation is looking like. So with the overrun here, we should have, okay, they're managing to retreat. Well, they'll be destroyed either way. We should have that sorted. Greek troops have taken Burgas and are actually approaching our lines from the south already. This is going slightly faster than I had hoped for. Because my troops are not actually ready yet, so we're going to spread them out a little bit more. But they're still it's been a rapid Greek advance against flailing or lacking Austrian defenses. So that leaves the interesting question: can we break the stalemate in the south here? There is also the 17th Wehrbezirkskommando coming in from the north. But I think we are about to break them. I'm going to throw in some support from the east still. Okay, now they've reinforced, unfortunately. But if we can break the 12th before the mountaineers are managing to reinforce the lines, which I think we have, then we should, if we can pin the enemy. No, the enemy is actually not moving south. We should be able to close the cauldron. And with that, once we have these in position, there we go. Now these troops are cut off from resupply, and we can begin closing the gap here, because they will be running very low very rapidly. The rest of the troops just needs to recover a little bit. But with that encirclement, unfortunately we have lost Kampala, because as soon as we're not paying attention, the enemy is making inroads towards our supply lines. But what we'll try is destroy this force, and then make our way south towards Elizabethville. Okay, in the north we have made our breakthroughs. We'll push the enemy towards the river line here, and that gives us a good new offensive position. Unfortunately, the supply in the south is not good, so we might have to try, while we have the opportunity, see if we can force a river crossing here. get an approach towards Warsaw. So we'll see if we can force it against enemy opposition before the supply situation becomes too dire, and then we can attack Warsaw from 3 sides. And if we can take Warsaw, then that'll be a massive loss. Significant counterattacks of desperate Germans across the lines here, trying to divert our forces. That's not going to happen. Have we taken the where's this? Oh no, the supply hub's still one off. So after we've defeated the counterattacks, we still have to take the supply position here, and then we can begin closing this gap as well. And in Africa, we now have to regain some organization, but I think we can already begin the cleanup operations here. Can I get this division to? Oh no, there's a lake in between. That's why. Okay, that one works. Okay, we'll push them together. And the military spending quota has been done. The Russian state can only ever be as strong as its military, so ensuring loyalty and satisfaction of our armed forces is our government's top priority. We can achieve that by negotiating an increase in funding for the military in exchange for them tolerating greater political control and indoctrination of the rank and file in cadet-friendly ideology. And given time, this policy will both strengthen our armed forces and cause their shift away from the far right. That is, I didn't realize this was such an ideological part as well. So we're diverting some extra budget. We have plus 20% army experience gain. That's huge, actually. And the 5% stability I don't need. But we've got we've got the additional military budget for 365 days as well. So that's a good thing. We could still distribute civic honors, but it would cause more anger, so it's not particularly necessary. I think other than that, we can complete we can complete this one here on the ruins of the empire. I think there's still a bit of air force, naval, and land forces available here. Improved logistics companies. Yeah, that's a good one. Roads of courage. Yeah, wars are not won by troops at the front, the countless personnel who keep the machinery of war running smoothly. Most definitely. So let's get that done. This is probably an ace pilot. Yeah, can discard that. And what is available here? We can recruit an operative in Greece. We don't need to do that because we currently have no operatives to recruit, but we have to reassign our operatives actually, because currently they have been on rescue missions. So Andreeva can join in the Balkans. I do want to have 2 operatives in each location if possible. I've got 6 all in all, so I can cover 3. And well, I might as well actually send somebody to add. It's not going to be worth. Warsaw is going to fall before we're actually going to be doing anything. What we could do is actually begin some infiltration of the German Empire. Let's make some resistance contacts. That would give us sabotage missions, or we could plant some false intelligence for the Germans. Yeah, that might actually be a nice one, because we've got 2 operatives that are currently not really doing anything. So we've got Smirnova, and ideally we would send somebody. Else. Hang on, where did I just deploy her? Him, yeah, he needs to not do that. Okay, counterintelligence for now. And then we will plan out the planting of false intelligence for the Germans. Ideally, we would send Maya, but she is currently deployed to Berlin. So I don't want to jeopardize her mission here. Well, we can send her in. But she is a bit reckless as well. And it's better if she's running on a supporting role. So we're going to get Smirnova and Sabaniauskas to do that. So I will prepare that, and we will see if we can plant some false intelligence inside Germany that is going to I think, reduce some of the effectiveness there. All right. So can we manage to cross the river, and can we manage to prepare an assault on Warsaw? That might. It looks more promising in the east, where we are facing just an exhausted Austrian armored division. India has everyone has kept telling me that I don't need these troops here. Everyone kept saying, why in the comments, why do you keep these troops in Central Asia? That's exactly why, that sort of thing, because India has apparently expansionist ambitions towards the Kumul Khanate in the north. They're not particularly fond of them, but apparently India has some ambitions here. We're going to leave that to India for now, but I'm definitely going to defend the borders just in case things get interesting there. And it looks like India, with their expansion into German East Asian territory, that's quite successful here. They are potentially looking at becoming a major Asian power at this point. So that's that. All right, our mountain divisions actually are now, our lines are shortening wherever we're looking. So we're going to join here now with the mountain divisions. The bigger question is, where do we have supply? We've taken already Sofia, so we might be able to move north with our forces. Let's see if we can. The problem is going to be supply out of Sofia. It might be enough. Let's see if we can take this. This is a relatively aggressive forward position, but let's see if we can take that. And then the rest of the troops is actually going to march out of Sofia north, and we'll see if we can establish lines here that allow us to close the sector. Meanwhile, here we're still defending against counterattacks. And have we managed to break out? Yes, we have managed to break out towards Warsaw. Unfortunately, that is still a river position, so it's not ideal. But it gives us more options to assault Warsaw from multiple directions. Ideally, I'd have this position, but I don't think I can. No, not directly. But given that Warsaw is currently counterattacking, we might try to launch an assault on Warsaw directly with whatever fuel and ammunition we currently have available, and see if we can manage to take Warsaw. It's not ideal obviously not ideal for the heavy tanks. I would need the 14th Army would actually be better. Is Warsaw? No, it's no fortifications. So 14th Army would be suited towards this kind of fight, but they're far north at this point. So we'll see if we can take Warsaw with the forces that we have available, but then eventually it'll make sense to bring and then we can also support that from the other side now. Then we should be able to get through there, and then we can bring the 14th over. All right, so we have a potential for a counterattack here now that the assaults have abated, and we are immediately going to launch said counterattack north with what troops we have available to us. I'm going to send the armored division. Okay, that's actually not a direct line, but we should be able to push these in the counterattack. We should be able to push them out without too much trouble. So troops are moving. Heavy tanks now coming on the lines here. Not sure I did order that, but why not? Where can we go from here? We can probably try to, we'll probably just launch a general offensive and then try to cut off and destroy as many troops as possible. So India has called us to arms And, well, they are part of the Moscow Accord, so we will accept their call to arms. For now, we'll just be defending, but that means these troops here, under General Akutepov, actually do need a front line. Also, they need to be upgraded. So let's get them upgraded to the regular divisions. Yeah, we've got about just enough artillery. So, oh, we've actually got some troops here, so I don't necessarily want to have those. Those are the Japanese security forces. It's just these troops here that need a front line. This is a little fractured, honestly. So we will dedicate single divisions to certain special areas. And we need 1-2 division here to hold this line. Okay, the rest of them. Now we'll leave it to the Indian forces to deal with this. This is their war after all, but we will provide military and logistical support. All right, Africa. What's it looking like? We haven't managed to. We have not managed to bring them to heal here just yet. Didn't I have I did have a division here. That seems to have been defeated. Okay. I'm risking, if I do need to conclude this, however. So I'm going to bring the 176th over, risking that they'll reconnect the lines here. Just to make sure that we are gaining control, because we have no supply in the east. And this across the river is not going to be particularly successful. So we are driving them out, but we do need to destroy these forces. So let's make sure that actually happens. In the north, we are seeing counterattacks against Danzig, but with feeble forces. Battle for Warsaw is still ongoing, and we're still trying to force the bridges over here. But I think Warsaw is about to fall under the heavy bombardment of Russian close air support, despite the fact that we actually have to cross the bridges there. How's the fight looking here in the south? We are making our way forward. We have taken the supply position, which means from here on out, once that is connected, which is going to be, shouldn't be too long. We've got some supply issues here. I think we do need to upgrade the railway lines here significantly. Let's get that organized in order to supply the forward troops, and then we can close yet another cauldron. The mountain divisions are making rapid advances, and I think the Greeks have already almost reached the lines here. So it looks like large parts of the Reichspakt troops here are going to be destroyed. And there's honestly nobody here to stop us. So additional mountain divisions coming in, but I think we are at the point where we're relatively close to encircle a large part of the southern flank of the remaining Austrian troops. Warsaw has fallen, and finally Warsaw is liberated. That's what we're going to call it. Warsaw has been liberated, which means we can seize these attacks here because they're not necessary. We're holding Warsaw. And we actually have a decent railway connection, but we are going to, once that's under control, then we're actually going to upgrade that somewhat. But with supply out of Warsaw, we'll be able to further the assault here. And I'm going to let the troops reorganize themselves in the north here somewhat, and then we'll launch the next operation here, because right now I think we have an opportunity here to significantly cut off and destroy with the rapid Greek advances the remnants of the enemy forces in the south. And we will see if we can get there before they can reinforce. We do have troops available here that we can out of Bucharest. We'll leave one division behind for defense, but we will already launch the assault north from Ledvitov's 16th Army divisions, and their firepower should be sufficient to break through, and then we'll have the whole. If that succeeds, we will have the whole sector cut off. We've got the majority of the 5th Army securing the flanks, and we've got additional troops coming in. Let's move north here. We've got additional troops coming in to hold the lines, and I think the encirclement here will be complete in a minute. But we have the 85 millimeter 1944 anti-aircraft cannon complete. Last stand of the 5th Panzer Division here against the onslaught, but I think they are. Guderian is trying his darnest, but they are extremely under strength. They haven't been able to recover their losses, and that means we will have. I'm going to have to start counting here once the fighting subsides, because right now I can't even see that due to the overlay of the. Maybe this works. So we've got 10, 15, 16, 26, 7, 29, 32, 32, 35, 37, 39, 40. We've got round about 40 enemy divisions, so almost 2 field armies encircled at the southern front, here. And with that, that will be a significant blow to the Austrian fighting strength. How is the situation in Africa? Let's further shorten the lines here. Okay, they are trying to counterattack, but it's not going to do them any good. And I think once we've broken through here, then we can complete the destruction of another 8 Middle Africa divisions, and that should open the road towards Elizabethville. The lines here are producing rapidly, which is great, which means that we should be getting, what is this, 200, 500, 600, probably almost 600 rifles eventually per day done, if I include these, because these are just uplifting. But the anti-aircraft guns, so we've got the 85 millimeter anti-air, and that is already upgraded, so we can just replace that. And that can also convert existing equipment just to, is that speeding it up? They got 14, that speeds it up. So existing equipment conversion. And that also means we can fix the tank design. So we've got the ASU-152 for artillery. We've got the AS-10 as the flame tank. We've got the AS-1 as the actual tank. But we're still using the Su-37. So if we're starting out with the AS-1, creating a variant on that. That would use, I think, air guns are in small armaments. So let me design that quickly. Okay, there we go. So this is the ZSU-85 twin 88 millimeter, 85 millimeter anti-aircraft cannon, self-propelled, heavily armored. And that will be the new model that'll replace the older ones. So we can switch production from the Su-37A to the ZSU-85. There we go. So now we've got the complete production underway. And that means, I already switched these over. So what's our stockpile on mechanized infantry? Where are we? Mechanized, 800 pieces. Okay, that's actually fair. We might as well at some point start changing the light tanks around, to be honest. What's our current light tank model? I am tempted. I was kind of tempted to see if we could probably do upgrade the light tanks with medium tanks, but we are completely behind in that particular research. So we'll stick with the Astrov series, but I think it's time to have a quick look if we can do some improvements there. So we've got the T-50A advanced light tank. I think that is as good as it's going to get. We've got the improved small cannon currently in, which is which is all we can get. 8.9 kilometers, which is decent, but yeah, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. They're built more, they're built less for armor and more for a bit of speed. What we could try is to make them a little bit faster. I could make them a little slower and give them a bit more armor. But the bigger problem really is the division template, because the light tank divisions currently have, and I can switch the maintenance. I can switch maintenance out for logistics. But currently 33 armor is not an awful lot. What I could do is replace these with mechanized. That would then be the whole line, obviously. Let's see how many that would require. That would require 2,000. Okay, so we're not doing that just yet. I could start gradually pulling them over, but we'll leave it as is for now. And we are going to, but we're going to upgrade obviously the heavy tank divisions as they go. All right, research. Where are we? I've got a few infantry researches that need to be done. I think I'm pretty much through here. We still need the OF-63 as well at some point. But, or maybe for the land cruiser project we might need this. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're not really facing enemy tank. I'm hesitant because we're not really facing enemy tanks vastly. We could get the excavation text done. I think I'm okay with the airframe research. This is still ahead of time on the engines. I did say I was going to leave one on naval unless there's something really important there. So I think instead I'm going to get some of the support company tech going here, because we're lagging a little bit behind there. What's the decision? Okay, we could recruit now in Poland. We don't want to. We are going to, with Warsaw fallen, the Polish government has retreated to Krakow, and we are obviously now going to have to reshape the front lines here for the next push. But I think the next push can be to create a salient inside Poland, and from here to move along the mountain ranges and see if we can cut off and destroy these troops. But first, we'll deal with the situation here, because okay, there we go. They have now been encircled and cut off. Obviously, immediate vicious counterattacks. We've got 3 divisions from the 16th Army holding the line. Guderian himself commanding the German special forces now, mountain divisions, trying to cut off and destroy the enemy our troops. But I think that is not going to happen. We'll send the 59th Mountain north, and the rest of them can already begin operations to collapse these lines here, really, because they will now be accosted from multiple directions. So we'll deal with the situation here first, and I think these 3 divisions should be able to hold that with some because we do have air support over the zone. Why are they not? Come on. Okay, there we go. All 3 now have close air support. Yeah, we've got close air support over the air zone. So with air support, we should be able to reduce these relatively quickly. And that would be a massive, massive loss yet another massive loss for the Reichspakt. Okay, here we are going to need to begin destroying the enemy forces from multiple directions, and then we can hopefully have enough supply to make the move south towards Elizabethville once we've reduced the enemy troops here. Okay, are we short on artillery? We are short on artillery due to actually. We have only changed the AA, not the artillery. So we should be able to make enough artillery, 72 pieces a day. That should be enough to cover for losses, surely. But, well, okay. So while Africa operations is ongoing, and obviously here the operation will begin to assault them from the north now that they are drained of supply, and they will not get supply through the Black Sea anymore because we now control the Bosporus. So any kind of operations to resupply are going to fail, and the mountain divisions are going to be the ones to complete the cleanup here. We've got some more troops, and India has figured out that we're making enough. Enough artillery as it is, so there's no need for them to supply any to us. Troops on the move to compress the enemy forces into a smaller and smaller pocket. In Africa, we are dealing with a somewhat hardened, a somewhat reluctant defense here in the mountainous areas, trying their best to hold the lines, but eventually they will be broken. And then the roads open there. We are still clear on the other coast, and here we're shrinking the pocket. We're shrinking the pocket day by day, and these troops should not be able to evacuate through the Black Sea. But just in case they are attempting such a thing, what do we know? Black Sea zone. There's still enemy shipping in the ports potentially. So we do have to be careful. I think we don't have the firepower to accost them, but we're getting very close to the Baltic fleet being complete. So that will be the upcoming naval action. For now, we are moving to take the ports, and then they will be encircled and destroyed near Dobrich, while the rest of the troops is moving in from all sides. Okay, last enemy forces moving towards Dobrich, and they are encircled and will be completely destroyed, which means that the rest of them will be overrun without any recourse to retreat any further. And then we will tally up the complete destruction of the southern force of the Reichspakt armies. They have, it's September 7th, so we'll look at the Baltic fleet in a second. They have managed to reinforce the lines, but at great cost to their positions elsewhere. So we're seeing that most of the enemy positions are reasonably weakened at this point, and as autumn progresses, I think we will be cutting faster and faster through enemy lines here. Greece is now in a holding position against because they don't have the forces, but we can deploy the mountain troops to work their way through the Serbian territories. And we have destroyed. Can we get a tally? That's about 20,000, about 100,000. So about 385, so close to 400,000 men have surrendered in Dobrich, and the Black Sea coast is now complete. Completely under our control, which means that we will be able to get the Black Sea fleet moving out into the Mediterranean positions, perhaps. And more importantly, however, we do now have the Baltic fleet complete. Almost. We're, I think, 1 day away from having the Baltic fleet complete. Then that will be. What do we got? 1, 2, 3. We should be more. Where are the? Here are the two Sevastopols. Okay, they need to join. So we will have the 2 Sevastopol class battleships, as well as 4 Ismail, so 6 battleships, 3 heavy cruisers, for a total of 9, and then 38 escort ships. That, I believe, is going to be a force that will be able to take on the enemy in the Baltic Sea. I do wish I am going to start sending them out on a training mission, because we have a fair few ships that are new to the force. So we're going to start with once all the ships are in place. We are going to start sailing out into a training mission and in the Gulf of Finland. The whole area is relatively well mined, so I doubt that the enemy is going to set sail very quickly here, but we will see how that goes. And we'll be once the Baltic Fleet has reached a good level of experience, then we will challenge the enemy and see if we can accost the Hochseeflotte off the coast. I'm assuming that they're sitting in Stettin, but the other thing that we can do once the torpedo research is done is to begin bombing the ports and see if we can figure out if we can figure out a way to drive them out into the open and accost them for a naval battle in the Baltics. That all to come, and I do have to sort out sort out these things. I could. How many do I have? Yeah, I've got 41 dockyards. What I can do is I can launch a second line on the Tsar Vladimir class. And there we go. So second production running in parallel. They will be complete in December 1945. So I think by that time we will be probably, we'll probably be in Berlin by then. But we will see. There is always a post-Reichspakt world. The Reichspak's fortunes of war have rapidly changed. Their occupied territories have shrunk significantly, and they're now crumbling ever faster as we advance through the regions.